Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Happy New Year. 2024 is here. And with that, another mainnet call, now number 4, and a big one in terms of the ssv network and the relevance of the permissionless launch. I hope everybody's enjoyed the holidays. My name is Joel. I am the global events manager for the ssv network core team. I recently joined the team, and I'm very excited for the year ahead. We will be all over the world and popping up in different cities around different key conferences. And I'm personally look forward to seeing you guys there. The first thing I'd like to do is take you through a glance of the year that's just passed and the great work that the ssv network DAO has done and the growth therein. So let's kick it off straight away. As I mentioned, a big year for the ssv DAO, which has now grown to over 20 core DAO contributors. We obviously ran through 4 testnets, $3.1 million of support has been given to builders so far, and the DAO is very excited to continue with their grants program. And the core team members will take you through this in a little bit more depth later on in this call. And 55 builders now make part of the ecosystem, something that we are all collectively very excited about. In terms of the ecosystem continuing to grow, 18 community events have been hosted since the ssv inception. Again, personally here as the events manager, something that I will be taking care of for the year ahead. And I'm looking to see all of you get involved in more of these. Alongside this, the DAO's X following has grown 30,000 in the calendar year of 2023 to 57,000 followers. And we have a healthy, happy group of people on our Discord server as well. 20 snapshot proposals were brought up in 2023, and Ben will be taking you through this in a little bit more depth. And of course, it is a very important way that our community can continue to get involved with the evolution of the project and the direction that the project is taking. So with that, I'd like to hand over to Rob to take you through some more introduction. So with that, thank you very much from me, and Rob, take it away.
Thanks for the recap. It's really cool to see all the amazing work that's been done by the DAO, by our ambassadors and by the core team, everyone working together. I think these last 3 years are very, it's obvious to see that the network has really grown. And I think now we're kicking off with permissionless launch. It's like the end of an era, but it's actually only just the beginning. I would just also like to say, there's a lot of gratitude towards the people and groups and everyone that have made their contributions and supported the network, in these last 3 years on the road to permissionless. We've had the builders who have dedicated their time and expertise to the project, who have really pushed the frontiers of staking, all these new applications that are DVT powered. And to our contributors and ambassadors, Ben and those teams and everyone in the committees, for their time and advocating the project and helping the ecosystem grow and kind of sharing their time to this community. Also to the community members themselves, reporting issues, actively participating in discussions, like really important things. They really underpinned our vibrant community. Also to the core team members, Alon, the dev team, all the different teams working to, behind the scenes to bring this project to life finally after all this time. Really special, guys, really special. And I mean, lastly, to our partners who have collaborated with us, shared resources, expertise. I mean, this has been a very, very multifaceted launch, with many moving parts. And I think, it's just really cool to see all of these human beings working together and, pushing the boundaries of what we know. So yeah, thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate it. Don't forget the oats. You can claim the oats at the end of the call. And remember that there is a little hidden something in the video for the special oats. So keep an eye out. And yeah, to a happy new year. Let's make this the year of DVT. And yeah, don't be a stranger. Join the Discord, and let's make this year the year of DVT. To get into it, I'd like to introduce our other speakers for today. Let me firstly welcome Alon, lead dev to the ssv network core team. He'll be guiding us through SSV journeys from the product inception, a brief outline, and then a look into permissionless launch, current network stats, key milestones, and then obviously also looking into what we have planned for 2024, all the exciting upgrades, where we're going. So yeah, definitely don't miss out. This will be followed by Ben, DAO contributor and facilitator. He'll be sharing his story of joining the SSV DAO and how also to join up for people that are interested to become part of the project and make really important decisions. Then we have myself speaking, also part of the core team. I'll be talking about some super exciting integrations that are underway with some of the heavy hitters in the industry. Really, really interesting stuff, especially for 2024, getting into the staking space as critical infrastructure component. Next up, we have Iridian, who will be explaining everything about the incentivized mainnet. He will be discussing the program, the objectives, the impact on the network, also looking at some stats. For those of you who are not yet aware of the incentivized mainnet, it's a really cool program where when you register your validators to the network, you get an APR boost. A bit more on that. And then last but not least, we'll have Yoshir. He'll be sharing some really interesting technical information, advancements, some of the audit outcomes, security enhancements to the SSV network, and some more. So let's hit it off. Alan, please take it away, good sir.
Super exciting times to finally talk about the permissionless launch, although it's been live and the contracts were already upgraded, I think like a week or two ago. But the permissionless launch is really a key milestone. It's where we symbolize really the end of the launch phase for SSV. And so it kind of coincided with the end of 2023, beginning of 2024, which is really, really great. And kind of maybe it's a good chance to also not just talk about the permissionless launch, but also what we've been through in general, the DVT space and the Ethereum space kind of in 2023. And so there's currently, to the best of my knowledge, 4 DVT project. There might be others in stealth mode or smaller ones. There've been 3 mainnet launches for DVT tech. And the last kind of 2 points I think are crucial and pretty much kind of symbolizes what we should be hoping in 2024. So 2023 will kickstart with the Lido simple DVT, basically the first major staking pool or the biggest staking pool, first phase for adopting DVT. We'll start with a testnet, but quickly move towards mainnet, I would imagine, within Q1. And so that's a really big milestone. And the second part is kind of, taking DVT maybe into the future of Ethereum itself, which is a recent discussion made by Vitalik around the idea of how do we solve Bitcoin chain scale or scalability issues, specifically with the way the Bitcoin chain aggregates attestations. There are currently 900,000 validators on the Bitcoin chain. It puts a lot of strain on the network itself. And so Vitalik obviously outlined the problem, but also gave 3 solutions. The first solution he named was DVT, the idea that you can use the technology to make Ethereum much more scalable, or the Bitcoin chain much more scalable, but still keeps a lot of the decentralization properties that we want and hope Ethereum has. And I think that symbolizes a way of thinking that is changed throughout the Ethereum ecosystem, especially this year, where DVT ultimately hit mainnet. I think it starts now to become an interesting point for the Ethereum ecosystem at large. And I'm hoping to see, if we're looking at the Ethereum execution layer as, EVL, or rather rollup centric, maybe the Bitcoin chain can be DVT centric as well, kind of offsetting a lot of the work the Bitcoin chain now is doing to third-party DVT networks and minimize what the Bitcoin chain does and obviously improve its scale. And so obviously other things happened in 2023, but that's really, I think, a lot of the main things that we've experienced during the year. And obviously specifically for SSV itself, we've been through pretty long mainnet rollout. We started with the pre-launch, went through the limited launch and launch itself, and now we're finally the permissionless launch. Basically, now SSV is fully permissionless. That means that anyone can become an operator, anyone can create a cluster and run validators, completely permissionless, and it's the only DVT network of its kind to do that. Completely permissionless operator set, completely permissionless validator set, and that's pretty incredible, and it's great, and that's what we've been hoping to do from day one. And I think from now on, it's going to be a lot of focus on optimizations and making sure this works better and better every month. The stats for the mainnet itself, we've been in the permissionless phase. We've been only for a few weeks, but the launch phase itself enabled people to run validators permissionlessly. And so the past, I would imagine, what it's like 2.5 months. There's just over 70,000 ETH staked, and I think it comes down to just under 2,300 validators. That's a great end of year, I think. It's by far the biggest in terms of DVT concern, and it's a great first step, I think. It means that DVT can run, and it runs well. It runs on different continents. It runs on different data centers. It is run by professional node operators, and it's also run by at-home stakers. It's run by everyone, and it's great to see that. And it's also really, really important to make sure that for the average staker or even the professional staker, when they transition to DVT, they don't feel any shortcomings in terms of performance. That's something that everyone wants and needs to be at perfect state. And so I'm super happy to continuously say with every launch that performance is not only hasn't dropped when we scaled up, but it also better than what we kind of benchmark against, which is the Ethereum mainnet itself. As a reference, the Ethereum mainnet itself, in terms of attestation effectiveness, is just under 99%, and attestation rate is, I think, around 99.2 or 3, something along those lines. And so, and obviously, proposal rate is not 100% on the mainnet, kind of the benchmark mainnet network. And so, it's really great to see those stats. It's super important because it means that we can now start facing or kind of transition towards scaling this up and without any loss for the developers and stakers that use the SSV. And so that's really, really great, and we've put a lot of work into that. And so what should we be expecting in 2024? At least, what is our focus areas? And so in general, I think the staking market is going through major shifts. With the Bitcoin chain has been here since December 2020. It's been ramping up validators, but I think that we'll finally hit that 1 million validator mark. Obviously in 2024, I think, again, we're now at around 900,000. I think that DVT will be adopted at major scale. Restaking will help a lot with the economics of staking in general, and there's a lot of interesting things happening there. And overall, I think that both if the market is better and more positive, and with restaking, MEV improvements, and so on and so forth, I think that the economies for stakers will be changed drastically. I think that we'll see higher overall rewards, and I think this LST-fying things that will create an economy of its own. So it's a very interesting thing to see, and probably we'll see a shift between different services of capital, moving between them as they start offering different rewards, risk type of profiles, and so on and so forth. And so super interesting to see and where things will be headed, especially with a bull market hopefully in front of us. For us, SSV, the first quarter will be focused on simple DVT. Simple DVT is a major milestone. It's the biggest staking pool out there adopting DVT on main for the first time. And it's going to be allocating up to 1% of the Lido TVL to DVT. And it's a major milestone. We have to get it right because then it sets kind of the context for everything that follows. And I believe it will fundamentally change how developers look at the infrastructure they need to use. And so simple DVT will be in the fourth quarter. We're already working with Lido for many months, even years now. But it's going to culminate into kind of the first quarter first mainnet DVT clusters, validators running on Lido. So that's the beginning of 2024. And in general, our focus is in four areas. I'll start with the kind of the first three, and then obviously growth is a focus in of its own. So better developer tools, it's something we always strive to, but now that mainnet launch is behind us, we can start optimizing on that as well. I think there's a lot of things missing for developers to interact with ssv easier and simpler, and so I think that's something we're gonna focus on and just make better. And I think that in of itself will make ssv better. We'll work a lot on the scale of the protocol itself, how many validators ssv can support, in what ways, and so on. That's another topic. A third focus area will be research. It's going to be focusing on a few different things, but research is going to be a big thing, and we'll invest heavily in that. And finally, growth. How will ssv grow within 2024, and how it will become the benchmark for DVT use case. So there's going to be a lot of different things. We'll obviously announce them as we go. But growth is I think is what everyone expects in 2024 for DVT. I think DVT needs to and will see tremendous amount of growth and a lot of validators running on DVT, and that's going to be an amazing thing to see. And so that's pretty much 2024 for us. A lot of different things we've been working on and will unfold during 2024. That's it for mine.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Alon. That was really insightful. I think it's good to have be able to share with the community where we're going and what we're focusing on. I'm just wondering, for myself, I know like Eigenlayer is making like lots of waves in the staking industry. Like, can you maybe just go briefly for our listeners and for some of us as well, just like an overview, like how can ssv support Eigenlayer or vice versa?
So we actually announced the first step for that kind of type of not exactly a partnership, but kind of integration type. So we have already mainnets, distributed validators running on Eigenlayer. And so that's the first step. I think that Eigenlayer has been pretty open about not capping their Ethereum deposits, or rather deposits coming with Ethereum itself versus LSTs. And so I think that as part of their vision and kind of ethos, I think, and obviously Ethereum's ethos as well, I think having as many distributed validators running on Eigenlayer makes it better and makes Ethereum better as well. Again, I think that restaking is going to introduce a whole new profile of rewards for stakers, and so it's important that we don't disconnect from how eventually those validators are going to run, because ultimately somebody needs to run those validators. And so that's going to be the first step, and I'm hoping to see more of that along 2024. Again, I think that if we can get the reward side and tech side for staking well balanced, I think we'll have a home run in terms of just how Ethereum staking can scale, but scale in a way that supports Ethereum rather than work against it or against the Ethereum ecosystem. And so that's the first step. I'm hoping to see more of that, and we will see more of that as I think progress.
Awesome. I think that's absolutely amazing. Like the way that we're, like in staking, like not redoing, but creating our own Legos for people to build upon. Do you think, what does this mean for incentivization with Eigenlayer then? Does that mean that like if we're having the incentivized program, that those running on Eigenlayer will be able to earn extra rewards as well? Like from
so if you well, I haven't actually thought about it, but technically if you run an Eigenlayer pod, 32 ETH pod on ssv, you'll be rewarded both from Eigenlayer and ssv. Yeah. So
awesome. That's sick. Okay, cool.
You'll make a lot of rewards. Yeah.
Sick. Okay, well, we're getting to the incentivization later, so for those more interested in that. But yeah, thank you for sharing your insights, Alon. So yeah, next up we have Ben. Please take it away, good sir.
Hey, thank you so much. Let me share my screen real quick. All right, can you see it?
Yeah.
Cool. So, good day, everyone. I'm super thrilled to be here at Mainnet Call number 4, representing this vibrant community of the SSV network. My name is Ben, and I am the SSV Network DAO coordinator and facilitator. So, for those of you who are old enough to remember, this role is meant to do what a company called Nokia once promised. It's all about connecting people. Connecting people within the DAO, synchronizing the various activities, and ensuring the ongoing operation and future activities is what I do in my role. So my journey, my personal journey with the SSV network began more than 3 years ago when I first learned about the merge, which feels like ancient history to me already. It marked the transition of Ethereum to proof of stake, but also brought rise to new challenges. I personally quickly learned about SSV and DVT in general and how this technology could help Ethereum become even more decentralized and resistant. So far, my experience has been nothing short of extraordinary. Back in the day, I called this community the kindest of all DAOs. And by kindest, I meant most professional and most down to earth. And I have to say, I'm still calling it so. So the growth of our community mirrors the evolution of the SSV network itself. We have transformed from a group of enthusiasts into a robust, decentralized collective, each member bringing unique insights and value. That's why I'm personally excited to share with you some insights into the DAO's dynamics, our remarkable community members, ways of engagement, and of course, a future outlook. But before this, let's remind ourselves of the vision and purpose of the DAO network, SSV Network DAO. First, it is important to understand what the DAO is. The SSV Network is a DAO governed, community owned public good on a mission to pioneer DVT as a core component of Ethereum staking. Our vision has always been to ensure that Ethereum security should be in the hands of many, but owned by none. As a consequence, we are on the journey to democratize access to secure, efficient, and reusable DVT infrastructure to make this vision a reality. Now, to make the execution of such a plan as efficient as possible and considering our values, the DAO needed to design a system of distributed authority, which became the cornerstone of the DAO's constitution. So instead of a typical hierarchy, efforts within the DAO follow a distributed authority model optimized for evolutionary design. Of course, the constitution describes how the DAO creates a clear structure and how everyone works together. So in simple terms, everything within the DAO is structured as kind of a circle. Those circles either take the form of long-lasting committees or a finite working group, each with clear goals, responsibility, and most important, the authority to make decisions. So today's structure consists of several committees and working groups such as the DAO Genesis Committee, the Grants Committee, the VOC, the Multisig Committee, Tokenomics Working Group, DAO Foundation Working Group, and so on and so forth. So the DAO structure, including the aforementioned committees and working groups, ensure that our network remains secure, transparent, decentralized, efficient, and aligns with our shared goals. It's a system that governs, inspires, and unites us. So speaking about governance, none of it comes without the will of the DAO as a whole. It is the community and token holders who define the future direction of the SSV network by participation in the DAO's governance. Participation in the SSV network is diverse. Whether you're a developer, a strategist, an enthusiast, there's a place for you. The DAO isn't just a structure, it reflects our collective will, our aspirations, and commitments to the SSV network's success. There are several ways to participate in the DAO's governance and make your voice heard. So typically, this comes in the form of a hopefully well thought out proposal. A proposal typically starts on the forum. Once it is crafted, it is voted on via snapshot with a minimum quorum required for approval. Proposals are then assigned to existing committees or new ones if there is not such a committee. Our multisig executes on-chain transactions and requires, of course, 5 out of 9 members to approve it in case the DAO treasury or SSV smart contracts are involved. If you want to learn more, now is the time. Jump over to ssv.network/governance and explore the various ways to contribute. Let me quickly highlight another cornerstone of the DAO governance, Karma delegation. The Karma delegation dashboard is another prime example of our decentralized governance framework. It is not just a tool, it's a manifestation of our values, recognizing and rewarding active participation. It is also the number one place for everyone to build a reputation within the DAO. By increasing your Karma score through the various activities, you not only gain reputation, but you can also apply as a delegate and thus increase your voting power and play a bigger role in the DAO's decision making. So if you haven't yet, jump over to delegate.ssv.network and start building your presence in the community. All right. For those of you looking to contribute more directly, the DAO has open positions in the various circles. Most notably, the DAO is looking for a grants committee member. This is also the final call for this position since the DAO has received many applications and interviews will start soon. So if you're interested, jump to our Notion hub and look for the Get Involved section or scan the QR code. I'm also excited to welcome our newest members, Mark, Iridian, and Metanal, all joined in the second half of 2023. Each of them brings a fresh perspective and energy to our community, and I look forward to see their contribution. Of course, announcing new joiners doesn't go without thanking our key contributors. I'd like to take a minute and send a heartfelt thank you to Tiger, Ford, Thorsten, Spooky, and many others who have been instrumental in this journey. I sincerely thank you all and all the multisig signers as well for your relentless commitment. Thank you so much, guys. And of course, with all the great things that DAO has accomplished thus far, it is also part of the truth that one can always do better. As the DAO has grown significantly, it can become challenging to find a suitable path for an individual who wants to grow and step up. So for that, I am pleased to announce that the DAO is actively working on an end-to-end community journey with all the bells and whistles such as role-based journeys, ranks, and of course, bounties. Speaking of bounties, everyone knows that compensation is a very important factor. Not only want people to contribute, but they also want to participate in the DAO's success. So for that, the DAO is also working on the so-called SSV Networks compensation framework, which is tightly coupled with the community journey and aims to provide a fair, transparent compensation for everyone actively participating in the DAO. So watch out for future announcements. Well, this marks the end of my talk. The journey ahead is exciting. Together, I think we will continue to build, innovate, and shape the future of decentralized governance. I invite each of you to be an active part on this journey. Your ideas, your participation, and your vision are what will drive us forward. Thank you for your time today. Thank you.
All right, so you guys can see my screen?
Yes, indeed.
Cool stuff. Yeah, so very, very cool stuff. Alon touched on it briefly. And as you mentioned, this year is definitely going to be a good year for adoption. There are many cool things happening in the industry. We are working with integrations with some of the heavy hitters in the industry, names that you definitely have heard pretty much always. Anything involved in staking, these guys are there. So firstly, one of the big things is, like Alon said, the simple DVT test and the full module development is underway. This is a really big step for DVT, especially in the staking space. There's also talk of a Rocket Pool smart node integration. We'll be looking into that. And then also our launch partners and all of the projects in the ecosystem that are busy building and integrating SSV into their different staking applications. So yeah, we'll be looking at those three. So first off, we have the module. The full module development still in early discussions, but the more exciting thing is the simple DVT test, live on Holensky testnet, And we have had our first, in this week, we will have the first successful DKGs set up and running. This is really exciting, not just because of having this module starting testing, but also because we have a DKG tool. This is really cool, opening it up for people that are looking to split keys in a different way, not just through the usual key splitting. So this opens up for many different people, for different use cases, for those that per se don't want the key to exist at all. So I think for SSV, this is really good. For Lido, this is really cool. There's lots of interesting outlooks towards the future, like increasing the amount of node operators that they'll be able to add in. This is a really, really big step for DVT and staking in general. I think a lot of the old narratives that have been, asking these questions about decentralization and stuff are now starting to be addressed. And we're doing that in partnership with some of the big boys that have been in the space for quite a while. Following that, we have the smart node integration. So we are busy the SSV DAO is busy looking into a joint bounty to build an integration for the smart node. This is also a really cool opportunity to allow RPL users to run their nodes on SSV and kind of do both. We actually wrote, the core team in collaboration with the SSV DAO wrote a very interesting blog post a few months ago about how you can use the Rocket Pool node operators or mini pool and kind of use ssv.network as like another layer on top of that. So if you want to have a look into how that's possible and kind of an idea of how these two technologies can work together, really exciting stuff. And we'll obviously keep everyone posted as the whole situation and as it progresses. So yeah, when we're looking into the ecosystem, as Joel mentioned previously, we have a really big ecosystem and it's growing continually. We have 50 plus applications being built. These are ranging from staking pools, staking services, liquid staking solutions, institutional staking solutions. The ecosystem over the last 3 years has really, really grown into a really diverse set of applications that are integrating DVT. And essentially, this is helping the DVT narrative because we are creating more diverse on-ramps to staking, especially to DVT-powered staking, which allows all sorts of different staking flavors and use cases to kind of get onto the DVT train and to help make the whole system more robust and more decentralized. Here are some of the very interesting key stats from the grants. I thought it would be very pertinent to share. We've already spent over 1.3 million, like Joe said, on funding these different applications, granting them the ability to build. There are 39 predefined grants, 7 micro grants, 7 open grants, and 1 bounty grant, which you also can see on Immunify. There's a $1 million bounty there, which is pretty crazy. And so when we look at the different things that are allocated to, we have staking pools, tooling, staking services, research, and other types of tooling and implementation. So the ecosystem, not just the SSV ecosystem is growing, but the use of SSV outside of the ecosystem is also growing, as we spoke about Eigenlayer, Lido, and Rocket Pool. I think it's really cool to see how we are slowly but surely kind of moving into all the different staking flavors and helping everyone to create like a more robust and diverse setup. And that's it for me. Thank you very much. I think next up we have Iridian, who's going to tell us a bit more about the incentivization program. So yeah, please take it away.
Hey, thanks for that. Get started. Hi everyone. So I'm Iridian, and to touch on some of the points covered so far on this call, I'm an SSV Grants Committee member, and quite a new one at that. So relatively new to the SSV ecosystem and community and world, and coming in as an outside participant, as Ben said, very friendly. Really great community to be part of. So if you are watching this call and thinking, could I get involved or should I'd say definitely apply for the grants committee or just get involved in some of the community aspects. It's been great. Okay, so to talk today about one of the hats that I wear, this is the incentivized mainnet program. And this is something which touches on all the points that have been covered so far. It's the idea of getting more validators onto the SSV network and to incentivize that happening. So what is the Incentivized Mainnet program, and how can you join it? How can you get involved? Well, we jump across here, we can see that the SSV Incentivized Mainnet program was posed on the forum back in October. And the idea, quite simply, is to say that if you are running a validator if you submit a validator and run it on the SSV network, you will receive rewards in SSV from that. That's it. There's no additional sign up needed. You don't have to do anything special. If you are running a validator or have been since October, you can check the rewards, and I'll go through how the process works, and you'll be able to claim rewards that you've already accrued. Or if you're looking to add validators, as we were saying, stacking rewards through things like Eigenlayer and other ways, that's all possible as well. So to touch on some of the key points here, any validator that was registered to the network after October 1st, 2023 is in the program already, is accruing rewards, and will continue to for the remainder of the program while they're active. So if they're active, you need performance of at least 90%, which is calculated per day. So if you have one day offline, that will impact your rewards for that day, but won't impact your rewards for the period or multiple periods. And continuous participation is that while you're active, you also need to perform certain duties and prove that you're actually part of the SSV network. So fairly straightforward. If you've registered a validator, you'll be covered in all of these anyway. Okay, so let's go through some of the what the rewards actually look like. So in October 2023, the first month of the rewards, this was before it was permissionless, so a smaller number of owner addresses in this case, but still 685 validators. The rewards are tiered, as you can see. So we're currently in October, it was in tier 1. And you can see here that tier 1 has a 50% APR boost. So everything that you're earning through the average ETH rewards is converted into SSV. So you get a 50% boost on your APR in SSV tokens, but based on the ETH APR. So you can see there there was 2,122 SSV distributed as part of that, equating to $32,000 in incentives paid. If we move on to November, we can see that we jumped up to tier 2 in this case, which was 2,000 validators minimum. So the reward did drop slightly, the APR boost did drop slightly, but still more total paid out, 76,000. So the idea with this being that as the tiers increase, as more validators come online, you will earn lower rewards, as you can see there, down to 10% at the maximum. But this just incentivizes you to join the program sooner and to register validators sooner to get that increased rewards while it's still higher. The total amount of SSV available for this program during the 12 months that it's running until September inclusive of 2024 is 1 million SSV. That's the available amount. So even though the reward APR boost does go down, you can see that there's still a large amount of SSV to be earned. So don't be discouraged if you think, oh, there's already 15,000, 16,000 registered validators. Even once the tiers max out, the rewards will still be earned at that maximum percentage. So definitely a good time to still get involved. What do the rewards distributions look like and how do they work? So this is where I come in. So I'm the administrator of this incentivized mainnet program, and that just means I handle the admin task, particularly around doing the calculations, so pulling the data off chain and creating these Merkle proofs that show that the rewards have been earned, and this is the proof that says each validator was online for this many days, and all the calculations around the prices. This is all public and provable, so when I post it on the forum, anyone can follow the instructions and reproduce the results for themselves and prove it. And then once the results have been verified and everyone's happy with the Merkle proof, you can claim your rewards. And there's a nice UI for that on ssv.network/incentivized mainnet, where you can come and check your rewards. You can also do a rewards calculator and see, well, what rewards would I earn if I register this many validators, the yearly rewards and things like that. So very easy UI to check if you have any rewards so far, and also a great time to join the incentives program. Like I said, to reiterate, you don't need to do anything extra to join the program. If you register a validator to the SSV network, you are already accruing rewards from the day that you do that. So just something to check out. Okay. Thanks very much.
Cool. Thank you very much. Hey, Radian, I just have a question. So with all of these, staking applications that have been launching on SSV and going live, how does that work? Do the developers of those applications kind of decide how the rewards are allocated. And, so there are opportunities. If you don't stake directly with the network, you can stake through one of those launch partners, and you might also get the rewards through them.
Yeah, so the rewards accrue to the reward recipient address of the validator as it's set. So whatever that is set, whether, as you said, it's through a third party and they set it, they will be accruing rewards. The rewards address will be accruing the SSV tokens. And then, yes, it would be up to them to decide how that's then allocated and distributed. But the rewards are, accrued anyway to the rewards address.
Okay, cool. I think when I was interviewing some of these launch partners previously, that they said they would be sharing rewards, which is pretty cool. So if you don't have a full validator, you can look for a launch partner using SSV infra, and you might still be able to, still get those incentives. All right. Okay. Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you for explaining the incentivized program. I think incentivizing DVT adoption is super important, either through building applications, or just directly staking. So yeah, thanks a lot for that. And then onto the last one, which is definitely not the least, and definitely in my terms really, really interesting. If you're a tech person, Yoshir, could you please share with us what you have prepared today?
Sure. Hi guys, I'm Yosher. Glad to be here for the first time on behalf of the dev team. I'm team leader in the SSV core team, and I'm going to walk you through some of the stuff that we've done lately, the core team has done lately to ensure a smooth permissionless launch. So I'm going to quickly share my screen. Okay, so the path to permissionless was indeed an exciting ride, and we've done some the dev team have done some stuff to make sure that we can go to permissionless smoothly and safely. First thing we've done is we've doubled down on message validation and authentication on the P2P network that we have. We have added, as you can see, more than 50 rules of how we validate messages. As you probably know, we have different duties and roles for stakers and validators in the networks, and there's many ways they can send messages participating in the SSV consensus. And we've added a lot of validation of whether someone is trying to trick the protocol and doing something weird, which has been going really successfully. We have also added an RSA verification on non-committee validator messages. So since SSV is a permissionless network, then we get all the messages from all the validators. Switching to verifying the non-committee validator messages, RSA has been giving us a nice increase in performance, still keeping the network safe. And also another thing we've done to be able to switch to permissionless is managing a score to all the peers that we know in the network and banning. So essentially, when you see someone not admitting to one of these rules or signing with a wrong signature, we're quickly banning them and not accepting more messages from them, what saves our network performance and stability. So that was a very big feature that introduced before permissionless, and basically the safeguard to our protocol. Next up, we created an attack simulation network, which we're using basically now. It was the first time we've done it to conduct a simulation of attacks on a test environment and on basically a closed testnet that we have. And with this attack simulation, we were able to see how all the stuff I mentioned before is working. So we could see peers getting banned and their score getting lower when they're sending bad messages that we sent on purpose. And we could also, we made sure that this scoring doesn't have any effect on honest peers, honest players that just participating in the protocol. So this all works great in conjunction. What we have now is this attack simulation is basically we're using it every time we're adding a new feature. Every time something is changed in the protocol, we see that there's not a degradation in the way that we handle attacks. And basically it seems like we are as tolerant as Ethereum, and our scoring parameters is basically like Ethereum. So when Ethereum sees best player, they also do something similar. So we made the attacks to be able to see what is the best configuration for us in these terms, and it ended up being similar to Ethereum with just like a slight difference. We're also working on a more app-specific SSV scoring. So there are stuff that are working in SSV but are not part of Ethereum, but also just part of SSV. So this is in the making, and pretty soon we're going to have also app-specific scoring to be able to ban peers that are playing in stuff that is more related just to SSV. Yeah. So next thing that we've been doing is we've been doing audits. So we have been working tightly with the Quantstamp team on auditing our contracts. So it's been an interesting audit. I'm not going to share anything here, but you can go to our repo and see the report by Quantstamp. And for the node, we had also some interesting revelations by List Authority, and we're still working with their team just because they reported some stuff in the audits, and we've done everything we could do to repair what the points they pointed, and this means like a successful audit and a completed audit that all the points have been addressed before we are basically publishing, the audits, or the audit is done and completed. So this is the point now, and this is how we can go out to permissionless. And I guess, like Alon said, because we are finally after the permissionless launch and the permissionless network is running on mainnet, we can, with the whole feature set that we envisioned from before, so we can now give some more focus to dev tools for developer wanting to build on SSV or even participate, contribute to the SSV protocol. And the two big stuff that we want to focus on the near future is scale of the protocol, be able to run more and more validators on SSV, and stability, which means, again, a tolerance to attacks and making sure that our performance is top notch all of the time. Yeah, I think that was the dev team sound short. You're welcome to ask question, or if anyone wants to approach me later and ask stuff about it. Thank you.
Awesome. That is super interesting. I think having like that open and permissionless aspect to the network is super important. And I think, we're like 2 months down the line and we already have over 100 node operators. I can't imagine, the kind of security and complexity that's needed if you want to have 200, 300, maybe 400 node operators all sending messages and creating clusters together. So yeah, I I can imagine it was quite a job, but yeah, thank you so much. That was really well done. So guys, I think that brings us pretty much towards the end of our call. Thank you so much for joining.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, guys.
Bye.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.